The first official yearbook was 1910, and they ran for 81 years. The last one was 1991, so they had a pretty good run. They kind of were an outgrowth of the college paper. Before 1910, the college paper was a monthly, and the last month of the year, the senior class would be responsible for that issue, and they really turned it into an annual. So beginning in 1907, 1908, 1909, the senior class would produce this kind of culmination issue the last month of the year. Well, by 1910, they decided to have a yearbook that everyone could participate in. The seniors were really in charge of the yearbook, but they were able to provide the first official yearbook in 1910. And the college newspaper, which had been kind of a literary magazine or a monthly, was converted to more of a newspaper. It was produced weekly. So what they did is they took that old monthly paper, turned it into both a yearbook and a weekly paper. The 1919 yearbook was called the Victory yearbook that year. The war had just ended in Europe, and the first portion of the yearbook was designed to be a memorial to both those who had given their lives in service and then also those who had served. And the university had really made a concerted effort to try to track down what happened to these individuals. They had pictures for most of them, articles about where they had served, what they had done. For those who were deceased, what was the cause of their death and where they were buried. But it really shows, I think, a strong devotion on the part of both the college and these individuals for their service and recognizing their service. And so I find that the Victory 1919 yearbook to be quite interesting. Even several women who served, and they're noted in that yearbook. By the 1990s, they just weren't selling as many, and there were many yearbooks that were purchased but never even picked up. But by 1990s, early 1990s, they just found it was just too much effort to produce this large tome, and so they ended it then. Digital yearbooks will be much more accessible for most patrons or people looking for information. Some of the yearbooks had indexes, but many of them did not. Now they can actually look up a name, an organization, an activity, and do a search online without having to go page to page to page looking for it. And so it'll make it much easier to search either individual yearbooks or groupings of yearbooks, looking for, especially for specific individuals they're looking for.